Hey guys, so this year has been amazing for me so far. I have seen huge shifts in my business. I actually closed $32,000 worth of sales in the first 3 months of my business. And I did all of this working approximately 3 to 5 hours a week. This is something that I have always dreamed of, something I have been working towards, and something that I believe everybody should know about. Everybody should have the information to be able to do this if this is something that they want. I myself have always had really big dreams for myself. I have wanted to make a lot of money. And I've also worked for myself for about the last 10 or 11 years now. And for most of that, it has been a major struggle. Not only was I pushing, forcing, trying to work, 10, 12 hours a day, taking on clients that I didn't really want to work with, saying yes when I wanted to say no, coming up with these elaborate plans and schemes for how to make all this money. As an example, I wrote a novel. I thought this novel was going to take off. I was going to blow up. I was going to make money. I actually spent $15,000 on a publisher and I sold about 80 copies. So, did not go how I planned. There is something to be said about trying to rush the process. And in hindsight, I know I had to go through all of these lessons because I meant to teach this to others and share this with others. I have always believed that if you dream something, that means that it's possible for you. And I've always deeply believed that the life I'm experiencing now is the life that I was meant to experience. But there are four sort of main pillars that I wanted to go over and discuss with you today and talk about my transformation through these things, how I got to where I am, how I got to the place where I can work less, make more, and ultimately live in my feminine energy. Because in this world, in this society, we are a masculine dominated society, and we're not necessarily a healthy masculine dominated society. There are a lot of unhealthy mechanisms, ways of operating, ways of doing business, power dynamics, etc., that are present and at play in society and therefore conditioned into us, a lot of beliefs that we are just born into. And, it's the world we see around us. So we automatically think it's the only way it is, or it's how it's always been. So it's how it always has to be. And when we operate from these belief systems, that is the reality we create. It's kind of smoke and mirrors illusion convoluted because we sometimes don't even know we have these beliefs within us, but we're operating from them. And because of that, we create that into reality. But if we go inside and release and shift that energy, then the outside world has no other option but to shift with it. And this is a belief that I've always had since I started studying energy, since I started studying chakras. I saw this example in so many ways in my life. And I always told myself, okay, well, one day I'm going to be able to make a lot of money. I'm going to be successful because abundance is my birthright. If other people can do it, I can do it. And whatever is going on inside of me is reflected outside. So if I release everything that is not true for who I am, then I'm going to have to see results in the outside world. There's no other option. And over and over again, I would try to force this timeline into reality. I would try to force this money to come through, but I was missing a lot of the key principles, and I was still not operating from who I truly am. And so I wasn't getting these results in real life. So my hope and my dream is that through my teachings, through my videos, you learn what is possible for you. You see the example through me, and hopefully it doesn't take you 10 or 11 years to figure this out so that you can also have the life of your dreams and live in your feminine energy. What does it mean to live in your feminine energy? It means to have an abundance of energy available, first of all, to not be operating on an empty tank, to not be injecting yourself with caffeine all day long, to not be pushing through when you don't want to push through, to be able to nap whenever you want. It means experiencing joy regularly. Joy becomes your base frequency. Gratitude becomes your base frequency. You wake up every day, you're excited for the day. You're excited for the relationships you've built. You're excited for the businesses that you've built. Or if you're working a job, you're excited to go to that job. You have access to your pleasure. You have access to your creativity. You have energy to create with. When we're functioning in survival mode, all of our energy is going towards trying to keep ourselves alive, trying to keep ourselves alive. And we don't have the energy to create. And this is something I've really discovered recently, is now that I'm no longer in survival mode, I suddenly have all this energy to create with, and I'm excited to create. I want to show up. I want to be seen. I want to share. And when you're used to operating in scarcity and that's all you know, it can be hard to see life any other way. But what happens is when you can't see life another way, you get stuck in that original way of being. So, first of all, getting to know yourself is so huge. So, if you like systems like human design or astrology or gene keys or numerology, there's so many different systems. But finding systems that work for you, finding practitioners or healers, even Reiki, like for me, Reiki was huge because I got to know what was going on in my chakras, and I got to know where I was maybe more blocked, where I still needed to do some work. I got to understand that journey really well, and it acted as a compass for me along my journey. I also love human design. I'm a projector. All my other fellow projectors out there, raise your hands. We're not meant to be pushing, going, operating, doing, moving all the time. Astrology helps you to know sort of where you should be investing your energy, how different relationships work for you, how you're meant to show up in the world, in your purpose, different struggles that you might go to. But really finding a deep understanding of yourself is so important for knowing how to operate in business or in creation or in making money. This topic is how to make money in an easy way, easeful way, without having to work your ass off. And so inner work and self-work and getting to know yourself is a huge part of this process. Knowing how to set boundaries, knowing where you're maybe overgiving, knowing what you went through as a child, trauma responses that you might have, attachment styles that you might have. This inner work journey is so important for being able to operate in alignment with your soul, because ultimately, when you are showing up in alignment with your soul, that is where you're going to earn the most abundance. That is where things are going to come effortlessly to you, because you're not blocking the stream, you're in a clear channel of energy, and so it's easy for this energy to come to you. So that is number one component, getting to know yourself, doing that inner work so that you're not putting a bunch of energy into something that isn't even for you, that isn't even going to serve you. Another amazing pillar that we're going to talk about is listening to your body. This one is huge, okay? And this one goes against everything that you have been taught. And it's going to feel awkward, it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel wrong when you first do it. But the number one thing that moved the needle for me when it came to having a successful business was listening to my body. Your body is how your intuition speaks to you. And once again, like I just said, with getting to know yourself and how you operate so that you can be in alignment with your soul, so you're not paddling upstream, paddling up the wrong creek, but you're floating down the stream, your body is going to tell you how to get there. So If your body is saying you need to rest, you need to sleep, you need to listen to that. And it's going to go against all those voices in your head at first. It's going to feel wrong. If it feels wrong, it means you're doing something right when it comes to listening to your body, which is like the total opposite of what I'm saying if it feels wrong. But it is going to feel wrong at first to listen to your body. You're going to have that inner critic because think about all the messages we see in society. You know, you have to hustle, you have to work hard. The more you work, the more you'll earn. There's all these different beliefs out there. Think about your parents, how they operate, what kind of beliefs they have about money. Chances are those beliefs are running the show for you as well. I'll never forget one day when I first moved home and back home and I started deciding I was going to listen to my body. I My dad came over one day and I was like, "Oh, I accidentally overbooked myself. I'm really busy." And he was like, "Great, amazing. You're really busy. That's awesome. That means more money." And I just was like, "Okay, I see where I get that belief from. Loud and clear, right here in my dad." But a lot of these beliefs that you've been taught aren't actually the truth for you. So, the very first thing as you're on this inner work journey, getting to know yourself better, your beliefs, who you are, how you operate, what you like, is listening to your body. And at first, it's going to be confusing because you're going to feel tired all the time. You might go through a period where all you want to do is sleep. I went through that period. I decided a couple years ago, moving forward, I am only listening to my body. I don't care if I have $0 in my bank account. I don't care if I have a bill due. I'm listening to my body because how you show up is what you're going to get back. So if you are forcing out content and you don't want to be doing it, that is the energy frequency that you are sending out into the world. Like, oh, I don't want to be there. Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? You're sending out, you might be saying hello, how are you doing? But you're sending out, ugh, I don't want to be here. And that's what people are picking up on. That's the energetic frequency that is being mirrored, that they're receiving. So, of course, they're not going to want to work with you. If you're showing up when you don't want to show up, if you're pushing through when you'd rather not be pushing through. And this is a phase that everyone goes through. When you've been hustling, grinding, working for so many years and you decide, okay, now I'm going to listen to my body, the first thing that happens is you get tired. Your body is like, okay, now we finally have space, let's rest. It doesn't go like, okay, great, now you've listened to me and now I'm going to tell you everything that you've been waiting to hear. You have to sift through all of those emotions, all of those bottled up energies, everything that you've been shoving down, pushing away, haven't had time for, oh, I'll deal with that later, is all going to come up to the surface. And that happened for me. I went through a really bad breakup. I decided, like, I finally saw the light. I was healing my people pleasing at the time. I saw that it was not for me. It was not giving me what I want. I was spiritually bypassing. I ended it, moved back home. I was like, great. Now I have all this space. Now I can like fully put all my energy into my business. I'm fully going to blossom. No, that's not what happened. I had to go through a restructuring of my foundations, which is my body, which is my root chakra. I had to give myself space to process through all of the energies and emotions and everything that had been shoved down or ignored or not yet had a chance to come up to be released. So don't be surprised if you decide, okay, yes, now I'm only going to listen to my body, and suddenly you're very emotional because you have to learn how to hold yourself through those emotions. Money is tied to the root chakra, which is tied to safety. If you don't feel safe in your body, money is not going to feel safe to come to you. So if you're overriding your body, or if you're operating under false safety mechanisms, which I will get to in a second, that's not your true self. That's not your authentic self. That's not true safety. And so money can't be magnetized to you in the same way that it could if you were operating from true safety. So as you heal and as you release, more light comes into your being, and that means more darkness is exposed, and that means these old safety mechanisms and beliefs come up to be released. So working on like noticing what is being brought to you in your life and trusting and knowing that it is all happening for you. It is creating the container for you to be able to hold everything you ask for. And if your container is filled with crap, there is no room for what you've asked for. So you have to go through this process of releasing, listening to your body, giving some love to your inner child, to your inner teen, creating that safety, because that is the foundation that is going to allow money to be attracted to you. Huge, important part of creating this life where you get to operate in your feminine energy. The next pillar is your self-worth. And so this is where the false safety mechanisms also come into play, because for a lot of us, the reason we get into these kind of businesses is because we want to help people, or we want to fulfill our purpose, or maybe we just desire to have a really good life, which is also allowed, by the way. There's no shame in wanting to have everything, right? There's no shame in wanting to have it all. There's no shame in wanting the love of your life. There's no shame in wanting to live a cushy life and feel comfortable and visit, like travel the world or eat good food or have nice things. There's no shame in that. Any beliefs that you're holding about that is blocking you from having that money. So if you're saying, I want money, I want money, I want money, but you're also projecting negativity and hate on people who have money, or you're judging them, or you're shaming them, you are blocking yourself from money. So looking at your beliefs around money is huge. So what I like to do is write down all of my beliefs around about money, and then come back and ask myself which ones of these are true. Which ones of these feel true, and which ones of these I don't really like. I don't really want to believe that anymore. And then what I do is I look at those beliefs and I replace them with what I would rather hear. I replace them with what I want them to be. Because that is the true truth. So, for example, money doesn't grow on trees. Who says money doesn't grow on trees? Who came up with that? Money could grow on trees. I saw a post the other day that was talking about fruit grows on trees, money is made of paper. Who came up with that belief money doesn't grow on trees? Who decided that you have to work really hard to earn money? Who decided that? Who decided that whatever, like, I'm going to put this out and I'm going to earn this back. And so if I put out more, I earn more back. That's just how it works. No, that is not how it works. Your self-worth is tied to this as well. If I do more, I'm more worthy, therefore I will receive more. I have to be more, I have to be better, I have to do better. That means I'm going to earn more. Also, not how it works. When you have limiting beliefs about your worthiness, when you don't know your true self-worth, you are blocking yourself from abundance. Because abundance is a frequency. Money is an energy. Money doesn't operate by these rules that we've decided. Truly, when we are functioning as our authentic self, and we are open and clear, and we know how worthy we are, and we've released all those beliefs around worthy, and when we know that abundance is available to everyone, and we've released all these beliefs around abundance, there is no other option but for us to have abundance. And for me personally, I had to go through every single money belief that there was. I had to be in the complete opposite of having a lot of money. There were times when I would be scrounging through my couch looking for quarters to be able to go to the dollar store to buy tuna and rice. or I had to borrow $20 from my friends to be able to take my car to go to a personal training session. I have had to take out loans. I have had to call the bank or call Hydro and explain my situation, feel through that shame, oh, they're judging me, or oh, they're going to think I'm a bad person. So much of our self-worth is tied up in money, and we really have to look at all of that if we want to be able to attract money. Money itself as an energy is neutral. So when you are assigning a good or a bad to it, you are the one charging it with energy. Money also operates very similarly to our attachment style. So when we look at our inner attachment style, if we're anxiously attached, money's going to have that same come and go, be close, be far, push and pull. If we that was very true for me. If you have abandonment issues, feeling like money's going to abandon you, you money will be attracted to you when you are playful, when you are having fun, when you are creating for the joy of creating, when you are enjoying what you're doing. That is when money is attracted to you. I did a meditation where I connected with the spirit of money, and she came through dancing in her body. And then I put myself into money's shoes, and I was in there, and I recognized where I was performing to try to earn money, where I was putting on a facade, putting on a show, trying to show up better, be better, look the part. And money wasn't attracted to that. Money was attracted to me being in flow, enjoying life, having gratitude for the things that I have. And there's something funny that happens when you've been in a very scarce way and when you've really not had a lot of money is you become very grateful when you do have it, and which attracts more to you. So looking back on your past experiences and feeling gratitude for what you've gone through and the lessons you've learned that have allowed you to have more clarity to know yourself better is huge when it comes to being in gratitude, which is ultimately also going to attract money. Working on your connection with your higher self, with your guides, with God, because if you don't know what you're trusting in, it's really hard and really scary to trust. So meditating, connecting, maybe you study the Bible, maybe you study Reiki, maybe you study the Bhagavad Gita, maybe you study the Tao Te Ching. There's so many different ancient texts out there. Find what resonates with you. The Kabbalion. Learn, study, discover, find something you believe in that's bigger than you, that you can place your trust in. Because ultimately, there is a higher power that is looking out for you. Your soul is looking out for you. You were created perfectly for this life that you are experiencing, and there is a way for you to be on your highest timeline. And your guides and your higher self, they want you to be in abundance. They want you to be fulfilling your purpose. They want you to have a lot of money. So really going back and looking at your mother and father wounds is also going to be huge when it comes to this, because our self-worth is greatly tied to our mother and father wounds. Our father was the first example that we ever had of being protected, being safe. Our mother was the first example we ever had of feeling unconditional love. We need both of those things in order to have abundance. And when you clear out all of that ancestral stuff and clear out all of those mother and father wounds, you recognize that your true father is God, that your soul is a daughter or son, a piece of God, and that you chose to come through specific parents as portals for the life that you chose to experience, the lessons you chose to learn. And you can heal from those things. You are empowered. You have the power. You can heal from those things. And so you don't have to do anything other than be yourself to be worthy, because you were created and that's enough. That's what makes you worthy. That is a big pill to swallow. That is a big bite to chew off. It takes some time, but the more you can understand that, the easier time you will have living in your purpose. And There is a huge rebalancing happening of masculine and feminine energies right now. There are a lot of beliefs being shed, a lot of ways of being shed. And ultimately, when you are in alignment with your higher self and your soul and your path, it's not it's not going to be hard. It's going to feel easy. Earning money is going to feel easy. Knowing your worth, knowing how powerful you are, how powerful your gifts are, charging what you deserve, what you're worthy of. When you are undercharging or undervaluing yourself, this is a law that I love, but whatever you are charging is what they are going to receive. So if you don't charge enough, they're not receiving the full value of your work. I've offered discounts before, I've offered extended payment plans. Those people have had a hard time finishing my programs because energetically that exchange was not there. At the same time, I've also charged what it's worth, and those people are the ones who are doing the work, showing up, making their way through the program because they've paid the full value of it. So, not underselling yourself, putting in the work to know who you are, who your gifts are, and then charging what you're worth. That is a huge one. And another thing that a lot of people have to get over. A lot of us come into this life with past life wounds. You know, some of us have had lives where we chose to live in scarcity. We chose to give up everything. We chose to believe we were more spiritual if we had less. Or we have witch wounding where we have this fear of showing up, fear of speaking our truth, fear of being seen. Your people are not going to find you if you're not seen. If they can't see you, they won't find you. If you're not showing up, knowing who you are, speaking your message clearly, they're not going to be able to recognize that and be attracted to that. So, all of these different things play a huge role in how I came to the place where I was able to earn $32,000 in 3 months, working 3 to 5 hours a week. Because I took everything I learned through all these years, all of the inner work I've done, and I put it in a program and I created it and I spent the time and I put the energy in and I went through the initiations. I put it in a program and it is valuable. And then I learned how to speak that out, I learned who I was talking to. I learned how to speak my message clearly because I know myself deeply and I know who I'm here to serve. And I also know that there are so many other amazing, talented, wonderful practitioners out there, people with gifts, people that want to be in their purpose, people, creatives, leaders, healers, teachers, moms, all of these amazing humans that have so much to give, that are so talented and incredible and unique in their own ways, but they are living in scarcity. And because they're living in scarcity, they're not able to create and they don't have the energy to be excited for life, to show up in joy and in pleasure. And they have all of this backlog of emotions and traumas and conditioning inside of them that is blocking them from their full true expression. And when you're in your full true expression, that is when you are in that frequency where the outside world has no other option but to show up for you and to give you what you deserve. And so yes, it absolutely is possible to make a lot of money, have a lot of freedom, have everything that you want. And it all comes from doing the inner work and getting to know yourself and clearing out everything that you think you have to do, everything that is not you, remembering who you are, letting go of everything that you are not, releasing it all from the physical body. This connection to the body is so important. The connection to the body is what connects you to your intuition, which connects you to your higher self, so that you can wake up in the morning, step out in the world, and know deep down, trust and know that whatever comes to you is coming for you, is happening for you, not to you, is happening to allow you to be able to hold what it is that you've asked for, because there's a reason you want the things that you want. And when you operate this way, teachers are going to come to you, helpers are going to come to you, clients are going to come to you. There are people specifically here on this earth right now that are meant to learn from you. souls that are assigned to learn from you. And you owe it to yourself and to them to do that work, to show up so that you can receive what you are worth and you can have that life of your dreams. And then the ripple effect goes on. They can have the life of their dreams and they can have the life of their dreams. So, number one thing, learning to listen to your body, even if it's unclear at the start, sticking to it, learning boundaries, learning what's yours, learning what's not yours, learning when to say no, feeling through and sitting through all those uncomfortable emotions, learning how to feel emotions. Big one. Setting intentions, asking for those things that you want, writing them down, getting clear, asking the universe to start bringing it to you, and trusting that whatever is being brought to you is happening for you. And before you know it, life is going to bring you those things because there is no other option but for that to happen. And yeah, that is how I earned $32,000 in 3 months, working 3 to 5 hours a week, providing incredible services, changing lives, living in my purpose, having an abundance of creativity, waking up every day feeling grateful, feeling joyful, and sharing my gifts with the world and creating more and more. Like, I have the life I want and I'm simultaneously creating more of it. And I know what it's like to be burnt out, to be depressed. I was addicted to substances for a while. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day. I was highly ambitious. I wanted all these things, but I was doing it in the wrong way. So all of my energy was getting eaten up and used up. And now I'm on the opposite side of it. And I'm so grateful for all the work that I've done, but I would never want to go back. And want other people to be able to experience this too, because we're on this planet. We have this one life, this one time. We might come back in another life, but this one life is here this one time. We're meant to experience it, enjoy it, have pleasure, the finer things in life. Like, we're worthy of that. That's why we're here, to experience that. And yeah, that's my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it valuable. If you are interested in working with me, I will leave my links in the bio below. Currently, my doors for my program are closed, but they will reopen at the end of May, and I have a free event coming up. So please like, comment, subscribe. You can give me a follow on Instagram. I am at AuthenticYou.healing. Send me a message if you want to connect. I love connecting with people. I'd love to hear about your story, hear where you're at, and cheer you on, because you are so worthy of this, and it is so possible for you. If I could look at me 10 years ago and tell her that this would be my life, she never would have believed it. It involved a lot of trust, it involved a lot of learning, and because I've gone through all that, I know my purpose is to share what I've learned with others so that they don't have to spend 10 years doing it. They can have the process, they can move through it, they can clear themselves out, get in alignment with who they are, and start attracting and magnetizing those things that are for them towards them, instead of chasing after them and going out and looking for them. You just get to be you, and everything that is for you comes to you, and it's beautiful, and it's only going to keep getting better. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to the next one, and we will see you soon.